back to Reviews from the Attic with Edward and Adam. I am Edward's dad.
And I am Adam's son.
And today we're going to look at Gaia Games' newest game called Ninjas Unleashed. Now they've asked us to do a review of this game. And since it came wrapped in cellophane, I think we should do an
unboxing video.
So get ready and we will cut this puppy open and see what all's inside. Alright, so here we go with unboxing Ninjas Unleashed, Legend of the Celestial Stones. So flip it over here. Open it with our handy dandy knife. We'll have to get a special knife to do unboxing videos with.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to take the lid off?
Yes. If it want to come off. Drop on the ground.
Let's put it over here. Okay. So here is a whole book of lore. The Legend of Celestial Stones. So there's a whole book of lore. That'll be fun to read. Here's the rule book. Whew, there's a lot to it. What's in the box? There's a whole bunch of stuff in the box. So let's keep going here.
Big board.
Double-sided board.
Double-sided. Cool.
Not sure what the differences are because we haven't read the rules.
Well, one's red.
One looks like a scene from Mortal Kombat. Oh, they both look like scenes from Mortal Kombat.
It's probably
these look like player mats.
okay. Let's see. And a bunch of decks. They all look similar except for this one that's red. These look like they're the elite ninjas, and these look like these are the apprentice there, the houses here, and the school senseis.
Sensei. All right. Why don't you dig into those bags? I've got one of these decks open.
Okay, let's see. What is in this bag? There is this token, I'm going to assume is the first player Michael. Because it only has the logo of the game on it, but I don't know. These look like the houses, probably. And Ninja Michaels looks like one side is green and one side is red. Maybe the good neighbor sides? I don't know.
Well, I just looked. There are 12 different types of cards in these packs, so we will open those during the final review and show them. Looks like we got some slightly oversized D6s.
A dragon looks like.
It's
a dragon in this story? Yeah.
Okay, and then it looks like a draw bag.
Nice card though.
Nice. I agree. Nice little drawstring draw bag. Nice box insert comes with it. Looks like it's going to hold everything really, really nicely. So.
And everything else probably goes here and here.
All right. We'll get this game to table, give it a couple playthroughs, and come back and give you our review.
So we just played the game, and here are our thoughts.
Yeah. So first thing I'll say is the game is 2 to 6 players. And it definitely, I believe, would play a lot better at a higher player count.
Yeah, but I think that we play a lot better at a higher player count too, because with the attack cards, which we'll get into in a minute, we can only target each other and only block each other. There's no one else to really attack when we're just attacking just the two of us.
Yeah. So higher player count would probably be a lot better than the 2-player, but we still enjoyed it at 2-player. Let's look at the setup of the game real quick. Everybody will be given one house board, which you'll get the matching tokens for your ninjas that match your token, as well as the point score, which is the little ninja star looking thing, which you'll put at the top of the board, of the main board, to track your score as the game goes on. Everybody will be dealt one house, which is basically variable player power. There are multiple ones of these, so that gives a pretty good amount of replayability, as each house does have a slightly different power, which helps kind of bend one of the rules. And then everybody is given one sensei to train your ninjas, from students to apprentices to elites.
And in the beginning of the game, you get one apprentice ninja card, which has really nice artwork, a green border, and a little quote that is just a little thing the ninja goes by.
Little flavor text. So things to note on the apprentice cards and the student cards: there are dice in the upper corners here that could help modify your dice rolls, because you use dice to activate these. We'll get to that here in just a minute. Once everybody has their starting apprentice, you take all the other black backed cards, shuffle them together, make one giant deck, and I do mean giant. There are over 100 cards in this deck. Once you have all of those played out or shuffled together, split it in half. There's 2 places on the board. There's a top half to draw pile, bottom half to draw pile. Again, a weird thing we'll get to in a minute. So everybody's then dealt 5 cards. Then the game can start. So the first thing you do is move any ninjas from off your board onto the board, because they maybe didn't make it back from the last mission they went off on. Then you will place any active ninjas, which would be your 3 apprentices down here on your board, on the main board to the missions. So the missions are these tan-backed cards. There are 24 of them. You'll divide them into 3 stacks of 8. Place them on mission 1, 2, and 3. Flip over the top one of each. Then you can decide which one you want to go after with your apprentice. You place your apprentice down with your chit so that you know which ninjas are yours, because you can only place one of your ninjas per mission if you choose, but then somebody else can also challenge you for that mission, which again is where I think the 2 players kind of hurt us, because why waste my time fighting you on one when I can just go take another?
Yeah, because since you can only take one unless you have more than one ninja, I took the one I wanted when I was first player, took the one he wanted. There was no other third person that wanted what we had to settle it out.
Yeah, we didn't challenge each other very much.
Yeah, we might challenge each other one time, but only because there's a really good card out there.
Yeah.
No, I want that. No, I want that.
Exactly.
It was a pretty fun
decent
time,
mission. Okay, so then after you've placed your ninjas, you go draw a student or students, depending on whatever modifiers you might have in play. You take your student, you put it next to your student spot on the board. Then you roll 1 die, and you're looking for a 4, 5, or 6 to promote that from a student to an apprentice. They could have a die modifier on the top corner, +1 or 0, or maybe a +2 on the students, but
I don't think there's a +2 on the students, because then if you roll a 1,
it'd be the only epic fail.
Yeah.
So if you roll a 2 or 3, then they, after modification, then they remain students. They were unsuccessful in achieving ninjahood. But if you roll a 1, it's an epic fail. They failed out. They go back to the bottom of the deck. They are 4, 5, or 6. They were promoted. They go to the bottom of the deck. Then you have to dig through the bottom half of the deck to try to find another apprentice.
Apprentice cards are roughly the same, but they can go up to a +2.
Down to a -2.
Down to a -2, which might sound bad, but the missing cards, which we'll get into in a minute, have win conditions and lose conditions. So having a low ninja might be really good for that one missing when you only have a +2 ninja, which you might think would be better.
Right. So then after we've done all that, then we go to what's called the action phase. In the action phase, the active shogun, which is the guy holding this giant coin, the active shogun plays as many cards from their hand as they so choose, taking the action that is immediately there.
There is no hand limit though, so you can have as much cards as you want. There's no hand limit for anything except having things in your board, but that's not really a hand, it's your squad.
Yeah, in your squad you only have 3 apprentices and 3 elites. So there are 5 different cards. Type of cards, there is a sabotage, which you play typically on another player, sometimes on your own squad, but they typically are bad. Then there's the enhancement cards, which are typically good. They usually do something like add students that you draw, Again, I don't believe there's a limit on how many enhancements or sabotage cards can be played on you.
An enhancement card can do things such as stop other sabotages. One I had was if you roll a 2 or 3, it could turn into a 5, and many other things around that same little category almost.
Then you have tactic cards, which usually give you some kind of advantage of swapping or taking cards from an opponent. Then the elites, they usually, when you play an elite card, they go on the top row. They usually give you some kind of extra benefit when rolling dice or in challenges or in missions or something like that.
Or when it's put into a squad, like elite ninja could say when it's put into a squad, something happens.
Yes, when this card enters your squad, their actions triggered. Lastly, there's counters. Counters basically say, nope, whatever card just played is countered. And yes, you can play a counter to counter a counter. And then you can play a third counter to counter the second counter that counter the first counter. In the end, though, if anybody plays an unstoppable counter, it's over. And that one cannot be stopped.
But with the counter cards, they can do things such as stop taking opponents. If the opponent gets a card that says, or a mission that says to take an apprentice, you can take an apprentice from them. And other things like that. But only though, you can only take the one that they draw. You can't take one from their squad.
So you can only take 3 actions. They're signaled by these action tokens. One side is green, showing it's an available action. Once you take an action, you flip it to its red side to show that you have used that action. You can only take up to 3 actions. One shogun plays all their actions up front, and then the next shogun goes. Once all the shoguns have played their 3 actions, you go into the mission phase. So then any challenged mission, the 2 or 3 or 6, I guess, depending on how many players you have, roll the die, roll a die each, and the highest number wins. And you keep rolling off until there's one victor, and then that person runs the mission. The other ninjas that were unsuccessful will go back to the board. So then when you're on a mission card has a win and a loss scenario. You roll 2 dice, the sum, if it falls inside the winning condition, then you've succeeded on the mission and you take the active or the action listed at the bottom. If you roll the losing sum, then you have lost, your ninja fails, he is discarded, and no points are awarded.
The number is though afterwards modified. If you do have a +2, +1, etc., it would modify before allowing you to get either what you want or what you don't want.
And some enhancements or sabotage cards could also be played at this time. So if you rolled and you were successful on a 7, but you needed 7 through 12, I could play a -2 card, and now you're at 5. So unless you can do that, you do fail. Okay, so let's talk about points. If you successfully complete a mission, you get 2 points. Move your counter up 2. If you successfully get an elite ninja from the deck and it goes into your squad, +3 points. And once you have a second apprentice or a third apprentice, 1 point for each additional apprentice. You can't have more than 3 on your active squad at one time. And then basically the first one to 20 points in a 2 to 4 player game wins the game.
But the way you do lose points is if you have, let's say you have an apprentice ninja that you take to put on this mission. If you were to lose that ninja by rolling the losing condition, you lose the 1 point you got from getting it because he's lost. Yeah. Elite ninjas, if you would lose 3 instead of 1 because that's the amount you would get. So you need to have 20 points, and you can only have a maximum of 9 in elites +3 heals, so 12. So you need to have lots. You need to have missing cards to be able to win the game. You can't win the game without missing cards.
I agree. So the one thing to note, though, also on the missions is if you roll, the final sum is either below, in the middle, or above these, then it is just a failed mission, not a lost mission, an unsuccessful mission. That ninja comes back to the board, and at the beginning of the next round, all the mission cards are refreshed. Any that were not completed or not done go to the bottom of the deck. A new set of 3 comes up. I did think it was interesting in the rulebook. It did say that if all the shoguns agree, you can wipe the 3 current ones and put up 3 new ones. I thought that was an interesting rule. I don't know why that's there.
I mean, that would probably become a house rule. So So that's probably why I put it in there, so you don't have the house rule it. It's an official rule that's saying you all allowed to swipe them all, but only if you guys all agree. The artwork for this game, though, is very nice. The art is really good. It looks very, very nice.
Well, let's put the camera up over the board and look at some of the components for the game.
Yep.
And then we'll come back with final thoughts. All right, so here is a look at the board. This is a double-sided board, which again is kind of confusing because neither side makes a difference to the game. So as you can see, this is how it will look when it is set up. So you have your student deck over here. These are the black back cards. Here are your mission cards ready to go. So as we said, as a mission is put out there, this guy is a +2, as you'll see there. So you want to put him on one where you need a win condition to be higher. So if this guy is placed there by this Shogun house, then that's that. If another guy decides he wants to do the same mission, there's that. That would be a contested mission now. To not be contested would go up there. And so then a third person, so you could set up, everybody could be on a different mission. And then across the top, you have the score track. Starts at 0, goes to 20. Don't know why it goes to 40, because 20 points wins in 2 to 4 player, 5 to 6 player, fewer points. All right, now here's a standard look at a player board. So the first thing, when the game is set up, you'll take your 3 action tokens. You will need a house card, which will be randomly drawn and placed right here. A sensei, which will be placed right here. Then you will have your starting apprentice, which will be placed at the bottom. Right up here. So the first thing you'll have to do is promote him into your squad. Then you'll be dealt then you'll draw a student card and place it right over here where it says student card. And then you will at this point, you'll be placing your apprentices off the board onto the main board to go for missions. Then you will try to promote the student. Then you'll be trying to promote the student, trying to roll a 4, 5, or 6. 2 or 3, no modifiers, he stays there. Had I rolled a 6, he is put to the bottom of the student deck, and a new apprentice comes up here for next round. During the game, cards will be played against you and for you. So if you get a sabotage played against you, it goes up top, and whatever effect it has takes effect immediately. You can play a counter card to try to keep it from happening to you. There's also enhancement cards. Tactic cards then come from your hand along with counters and other sabotage and enhancement cards that you're waiting to play at a different time. Lastly, you can have an elite card that you can play in. The number up here is 3 to 5. It means nothing other than 3s are weaker than 4s, which are weaker than 5s, because you want to target your opponent's higher numbers. Once you've successfully completed a mission, they are discarded right here next to you to remind you that you have won and to remind you of the 2 points they are worth. All right, we'll get back to the table with our final thoughts. All right, so we're back with our final thoughts. Edward, why don't you go first?
Well, I think this game is a ton of fun. Nice artwork. We'll definitely play it again with more players, because it would be a lot better, and we need to see how much better would it be with more than just 2 players, and maybe teach my mom, but who knows?
I don't know if we'll get the mom to play. But yes, the artwork is fantastic. There's a lot of different houses which give different variable player powers, building in some of that replayability, and I do believe higher player count will make this game shine. I think the 1 hour play time seems about right. I know that you and I played it in about 30-ish minutes, because it was just you and me going back and forth pretty quick once you get to the first couple rounds. So I think the play time will definitely be under, right around that hour time. So that is all we have to say on Ninjas Unleashed by Gaia Games. And as I always say, board games build bridges.